Amelia Keene was 19 when she disappeared. A college freshman home for spring break, she went to a party at the old Jasper farmhouse with her cousin Lena. Lena came back and Amelia didn't. Police reports said she was last seen heading upstairs around 10:15 p.m. Witnesses claimed she was with a guy, tall, lean, dark hoodie. No one knew his name. Nobody. No answers, just a small gold necklace found in the driveway the next morning. Her mother confirmed it was Amelia's. The case went cold in under 6 weeks. Lena Bennett never truly recovered. Guilt gnawed at her. She had convinced Amelia to go to that party. She told Amelia it would be fun, that they'd be fine. She wasn't the same after that night. She switched colleges, grew quieter, and stopped going out. But people move on eventually, or pretend to. Then came Nolan Avery, tall, handsome, charming, 28 years old. He struck up a conversation with her at a bookstore in late spring. Felt accidental at the time. He asked about the true crime book she held. "You like this stuff too?" He smiled. Morbid curiosity or something deeper? They laughed, talked for an hour. He gave her his number. They started dating. At first, Nolan seemed perfect, thoughtful, attentive, a little intense, maybe, but after years of numbness, Lena welcomed it. He cooked her dinner, asked deep probing questions, listened intently when she talked about Amelia, too intently. He never pushed for anything physical before she was ready. In fact, he was almost too patient. After 2 months, he gave her a key to his apartment. "I trust you," he said. "You make me feel calm." But something gnawed at her. Small things, the way he flinched at loud noises. How he locked his bedroom drawer when she wasn't looking. How he had no real photos of himself before age 25. One night, she jokingly asked, "What's the darkest thing you've ever done?" He didn't laugh. "Some things are better buried," he said, looking away. She wasn't snooping. That's what Lena told herself on the 3rd-month anniversary when she forgot her earrings at his place. He was out running errands. She had a key. She went into his room, picked up her earrings from the nightstand, then she saw the drawer was slightly open. Inside the drawer, she saw a velvet jewelry box. She hesitated, opened it, and froze. Inside was a gold necklace, a small sapphire embedded in the center of a teardrop pendant. Lena's lungs emptied. It was Amelia's necklace, the one the police had found in the driveway the night she disappeared. It had a scratch across the back, the tiny engraving Hope. Lena dropped it, then picked it up with shaking hands, took photos of it, then put it back and closed the drawer. She went home shaking, threw up in the sink. Memories rushed back. Amelia's laugh, her promise they'd leave the party together. The guy in the hoodie no one could identify. Lena knew she had to go to the police, but she didn't. She called her friend Natalie, a junior detective in training and one of the few people she still trusted. Natalie insisted, "You go to the cops with this. Now." But Lena hesitated. "If I'm wrong, I'll ruin his life." Natalie stared at her. "If you're right, he already ruined Amelia's." They needed proof. Natalie offered to help set up a trap. Nothing illegal, just a conversation recorded. Lena invited Nolan over for dinner, wine, candles. He was in a good mood. "I've never felt this way about anyone," he told her. She smiled. "Not even in the past? No other girls?" He paused. "A few flings. Not like this." She leaned forward. "Ever been in love?" He sipped his wine, looked at her. "Once. But she left." Lena pressed. "What happened?" He grew quiet. His fingers tightened around the stem of his glass. "She couldn't handle who I really was." Later that night, when he was asleep, Lena whispered into her phone. "He had the necklace, Amelia's necklace. I saw it. I'm going to get a DNA sample." Natalie coached her through it, a toothbrush, a razor, anything with saliva or skin cells. She chose a razor and sealed it in a Ziploc. Delivered it to Natalie the next day. Natalie ran it through a lab she had access to via an internship. 2 weeks passed. Then came the call. "It's a match," Natalie said. He was there that night. Lena confronted him the next day, heart racing, phone recording in her jacket pocket. "Where did you get that necklace, Nolan?" He blinked, smiled faintly. What necklace? The one in your drawer with the engraving, the one that belonged to my cousin. His face changed, slowly like a mask sliding off. You went through my things? Answer the question. He stood. You know, Lena, you really should have left that drawer closed. She backed away. Did you hurt her? Silence. Then, she screamed so loud, I had to make it stop. Natalie handed the recording to the police. The DNA match sealed the case. Nolan Avery was arrested 2 days later. Walking out of his apartment with groceries in hand, he didn't resist. In interrogation, he cracked within minutes. He admitted to meeting Amelia at the party. He said she reminded him of someone he used to know. He said she was too curious for her own good. He lured her upstairs, drugged her drink. She panicked when she realized something was wrong. He confessed to killing her, burying her near an abandoned mine shaft 2 miles outside Birchwood. He even drew them a map. The search team found the site in less than a day. Amelia's remains were buried under 4 feet of dirt, wrapped in a deteriorated sleeping bag. Her shoes still had glitter on them. Her mother collapsed when she heard the news. But Lena felt something shift. Pain, relief, grief, rage, but also clarity. She had loved a killer, kissed a killer, trusted him with the truth about her cousin, and now she finally had answers. At the trial, Nolan sat emotionless as the prosecution read his confession aloud. Lena testified, "He pretended to love me, just like he pretended to be human, but monsters don't always look like monsters." He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Amelia's funeral was held 3 weeks later. Lena placed the necklace in her casket, where it belonged. Finally, Lena learned that evil rarely wears a mask. It wears charm, gentleness, familiarity. And it waits until you stop listening to your instincts. The town of Birchwood would never forget Amelia again. Lena's hands tremble. Her mind reels. Amelia was found. Her body, her necklace, her killer confessed. So how? She examines the photo again. The girl isn't Amelia. Different hair, different eyes, but the necklace is unmistakable. She calls Natalie. "This can't be real," Lena whispers. Natalie races over and sees the photo. Her face tightens. "Where's the envelope?" Lena hands it over. No fingerprints, no return address. Just Lena insists on visiting Nolan in prison. She has to know if he sent the letter. The prison guard leads her into a small visitation room. Nolan enters in chains, looking paler, thinner, but still eerily composed. He smiles. "Didn't expect to see you again so soon." She slams the photo on the glass. "Who is she?" He leans forward, scans the image and laughs. A dry, humorless sound. "You're not safe, Lena. Did you send this?" "No, but I know who did." She stares at him, cold. "Why should I believe anything you say?" He leans even closer. "Because I didn't act alone." Nolan confesses he wasn't the only one at the Jasper farmhouse the night Amelia disappeared. He says there was someone else. A drifter, someone he met online. A man who liked to watch. "He was worse than me," Nolan says, "but smarter, always covered his tracks. Said I was reckless." "What was his name?" Lena demands. Nolan shrugs. He had dozens, but he always signed his notes with the same 2 words, Vault Keeper. Lena stares, realizing something chilling. Amelia's body had been found with her phone missing. No one ever recovered it. Natalie cross-checks the inmate logs. Nolan never mailed a letter, never received paper, pens, or envelopes. He wasn't the one who sent the photo. Lena and Natalie drive to Marrow Creek, a hollow, foggy town that seems half abandoned. They stop at the post office. The clerk remembers nothing about the envelope. No cameras inside. Natalie checks the area for old criminal records tied to Nolan's known aliases. Nothing. But then Lena remembers something Nolan once said during a late-night conversation. "Some people like to hide in plain sight. That's how they get away with it." They uncover an obscure true crime message board called The Vault, hidden on the dark web, an invitation-only forum. Natalie pulls strings through a contact to gain access. Inside are hundreds of threads, cases, theories, also videos, dark ones. One thread stands out: Birchwood Girl, Sapphire 2019. Inside the post is a video thumbnail, blurred, but Lena knows the background. It's the old Jasper farmhouse. Natalie traces the IP address of the poster. It routes through multiple proxies, then finally lands on a strange address. A cabin in the woods, on the outskirts of Marrow Creek. They notify the authorities, but the local station is understaffed. They promise to investigate within 72 hours. Lena can't wait that long. She drives there. Inside, the cabin smells of mold and rust. The walls are lined with old photographs of black and white. Women and girls, all with the same blank expressions. Some were crying, some unconscious. On one wall is a large cork board with pins and red thread. Lena sees her name, and Amelia's, and the photo that had been mailed to her. Then she hears. Lena turns. A man stands in the hallway, middle-aged, thin, smiling. "You weren't supposed to find this," he says calmly. She runs. He lunges. She knocks over a table, grabs a heavy glass bottle, and smashes it into his face. He screams. She bolts out the door into the trees. Her phone signals a half-mile out. She calls Natalie and gives her the address. "He's real," she gasps. "He was watching me. He had photos. He's the vault keeper." Police swarm the property that evening. They arrest the man. His name is Elias Granger. Inside the basement, they find what Lena feared: a locked room, soundproofed and monitored with cameras. And inside, the girl from the photo. Alive? Barely. 17 years old. Taken 3 weeks earlier from a gas station off I-87. Her name is Kayla Mendez. She'd been kept for days, starved, drugged, but alive. The necklace around her neck? An identical replica, but not the original. Back in Birchwood, Lena meets with Nolan again. "You lied," she says. "You said you killed Amelia." He shrugs. "I said I was there. I said she screamed. I never said I killed her." Lena's stomach drops. "Then who did?" Nolan leans forward. "There's more than one vault keeper." Police searching Elias Granger's property uncover 12 hard drives. Inside the footage, names and dates. Only 5 of the women have been identified. One of them isn't Amelia. Lena sits with a detective reviewing the files. Some videos are encrypted, but one folder has her cousin's name on it. She opens it. Inside are photos, notes, and maps. It marks the exact opposite side of the Jasper property from where Amelia was originally found. The detective looks up. "We need to reopen the site." The new excavation uncovers a second burial site, smaller, carefully concealed. Inside is a skeleton. DNA confirms it's not Amelia, which means the girl found 6 months ago wasn't her. The real Amelia is still missing, and someone switched the body. Lena stares at the open field. The necklace, the confession, the trial, all of it was staged, all of it was manipulated. Justice had been served, but to the wrong man. The truth had slipped through their fingers once again. "We thought the nightmare was over," Lena whispers, "but it hadn't even started." Federal agents take over the investigation. The discovery of Kayla, the fake remains, the second burial. All of it confirms what Lena feared. This wasn't the work of one man. This was a network. Organized, coordinated, and invisible. They name it the Vault Network, a decentralized group trafficking women, recording their suffering for a paying audience on the dark web. What Elias Granger operated on was only one node. "It's not just killers," the lead agent tells Lena. "It's financiers, transporters, programmers, and clients." Lena stares at the blurred image of Amelia's terrified face. "So how do we find them?" "We follow the money." The flash drive also contains metadata. Natalie and federal cybercrime specialists comb through the files. One IP pinged live during Amelia's video stream, an overseas shell server. But one payment, an unwashed Bitcoin transaction, leads to an account based in Pine Ridge, a small upscale neighborhood near Birchwood. Lena recognizes the address. It belongs to Detective Marshall Quinn, the lead investigator on Amelia's original case. Quinn is arrested at dawn. His home reveals encrypted laptops, burners, thousands in untraceable cash. More damning, a hidden door behind his study. Inside was a server rack and wall monitors, some showing past streams, some showing live feeds. Lena watches in horror as a new girl appears on screen, dazed and muffled sobbing. The system logs show Amelia was streamed for 6 consecutive nights, then pulled offline 3 days ago. There's a final file in the queue. Transfer pending. Vault 7, Nether facility. Natalie's hands shake. She's being moved. FBI agents track the transaction to an abandoned meatpacking plant 2 states south, rumored to be retrofitted into a private club with no public records. Surveillance drones confirm activity, armed guards and night shifts. They launch a raid. Inside the cold, steel halls, they find cages, chains, gurneys, and dozens of hidden cameras. They move through in tactical formation, room by room, door by door, until they reach the center. She's in a glass room, sedated, hooked to IVs, monitored. Lena is held back by agents as medics flood in. Amelia's vitals are weak, but she's alive. She stirs, opens her eyes, whispers her cousin's name. Lena. Lena collapses into tears. I found you, I'm here. The two embrace in a moment that pierces through every scream, every buried photo. Every night Lena lay awake blaming herself. Amelia is rescued, but around her were 6 other girls. Over the next 8 months, the case expands. More than 40 arrests, multiple states, 5 countries. Elias Granger dies in custody, an apparent suicide. Detective Quinn pleads guilty in exchange for information. He was the vault's mole, tipping them off, helping select. Lena is invited to speak on national television. She recounts everything from dating Nolan, to finding the necklace, to uncovering the vault. She holds up the necklace, the real one, recovered from the final raid. This was never about one monster, it was about the ones hiding behind him. The men in suits, the ones with badges, the ones who stay silent while watching it all. She pauses, but they forgot something. We were watching too. Amelia begins recovery, trauma therapy, and new identity protection. Natalie leaves the force and starts an organization called the Watchlight Project, a network that tracks and exposes encrypted trafficking groups. Lena writes a memoir, speaks at survivor events, but she never forgets what she saw in those rooms, or how close justice came to being buried with her cousin. You don't kill the vault by shutting one door, she writes. You burn the whole foundation, and yet, something lingers. 1 year later, Lena receives a package, no return address. Inside, a single Polaroid, a girl in her early 20s, bound, gagged. On the wall behind her, a spray-painted phrase, Vault 9 open for business. And beneath it, scrawled in thick black ink, you closed the door, we built a hallway.